Hello, procrastinators. Shall we begin? The Glowing Fury in Izuku Midoriya by Orphan Account. Trigger warnings, graphic depictions of violence, and Midoriya Izuku is feral. Take with that as you wish. Summary. If during the USJ attack, Izuku had a knife, or Izuku gets mad at Shigaraki and the man-child goes down in 10 seconds flat. Izuku's classmates know him as energetic, happy-go-lucky, considerate, and on the rare occasion, calm, calculating, solemn. But they, of course, only knew what he wanted them to know. They had never seen him filled to the brim with an unadulterated rage. It's debated whether or not they ever wanted to see that again. Izuku was not one to blow up. After a lifetime of being beaten down relentlessly, never being spoken to as an equal, having to be on your best behavior just to get home from school without worse than a couple of bruises. He knew how to keep emotions bottled up. He made a promise years ago that he would never let the dam open. Some say this is the worst way to live life, that it'll only blow up in your face. Izuku wonders if an office job and an easy lifestyle would have allowed him to keep the dam closed forever. Perhaps that was wishful thinking. After all, he learned at the tender age of 4 years old, all men are not created equal. This is especially true seeing the discrepancies between Midoriya Izuku and Shigaraki Tomura, two children belittled and looked down upon from a young age by the world, their friends, family, themselves. For their quirks, for their cowardice, quirk discrimination is a big problem in today's world. But who did these two children think they were, to tell anybody what was wrong with society itself? The bus ride on the way to the USJ was filled with subtle remarks about how quiet Midoriya was being, with jabs at each other's nervousness, and for the most part, unbridled excitement and barely contained squeaks and yelps of the pure happiness stemming from the writer's first ever field trip, commissioned by the #1 hero school in Japan. Izuku was uncharacteristically silent the whole ride, only speaking up when directly asked a question or forcefully inserted into the conversation. He was looking out the window, thoroughly enjoying watching the scenery speed by, his mind trying to keep up with all the visual clues as fast as they were going by. Maybe it was anticipation, or maybe that gut feeling that he had was really something that should have been acted on before it was too late. Maybe that's just more wishful thinking. Stepping off the bus, Izuku takes a second to deeply inhale through his nose, close his eyes, and brace himself for what was about to come. In his naivety, he assumed what was about to come was a simple heroics class lesson. What came next could only be described as his awakening, possibly his downfall. He follows the class to an open part of the USJ, where 13 starts a lecture about quirk usage and rescue protocol. That gut feeling coming back, stronger than ever. He turns to his teacher and opens his mouth to yell out, but stops when he sees his teacher's face scrunched up in rage. "Villains. 13. Protect the students."
"Wait, real villains?"
"Stay together. Do not engage unless strictly necessary." 13 jumps into action, only to be hurt by their own quirk. "Oh, goodness."
"We are the League of Villains, and we are here to kill All Might,"
a villain throws out. Izuku knew this was coming. I could have done something. No time like the present, huh? Finally taking in the scene, Izuku is mentally making plans and thinking back to any useful information from the many notebooks he memorized. The students are all huddled together, far from the exit. 13 is injured. There's no way anyone without a speed quirk could. A speed quirk. "Ida, you need to go get help." "Midoriya, I can't possibly leave you all here and go against teacher's orders." "Ida, trust me. You are the fastest of all of us. None of us would make it a foot towards the door without getting caught. But you, please." "Fine. Be safe," Ida supplies while taking off in a sprint to the doors. That leaves the leader, a pack of students, Eraserhead, and more villains, hopefully help on the way, the warp gate, and the big monster. I can take Hansy. No, that's a suicide mission. "Hi, kids!" A very stupid villain tries to get close to the students and is immediately taken out by Todoroki. This, however, gets the attention of Mr. Hands-a-Lot, who looks away from Eraserhead and over at the students.
"Look, it's the hero kids,"
he shouts with a sneer.
Nomu, kill Eraserhead. Since that's taken care of, me and my friend Kuroguri over here will toy with you, just until the pros arrive.
A sickening crunch is heard from a ways away, and almost every student's head is turned to see their teacher's arm bent at the wrong angle, blood pooling around his lanky form, still laying under the jet-black abomination known as a Nomu. And how does Izuku take it? He sees red.
Hey, Krusty!
He yells out to Shigaraki, much to the surprise of his classmates.
Why don't you call off your little dog?
Izuku tells him, the unspoken threat lingering in the small smile gracing his lips. Shigaraki returns the smile.
Or what?
With the rest of 1A frozen in shock and the help of his quirk, Izuku lunges for the villain before anyone can blink and stabs his knife all the way through the meaty palm of the pale villain's left hand. Thank goodness the support course let me have a dagger on my hero costume. Shigaraki lets out a blood-curdling scream, making the other villains snap their heads up in surprise. Momo, one more of those, please. Izuku prays she can handle the request under pressure.
You insufferable brat!
Shigaraki extends a hand to meet Izuku's face just as he catches the knife thrown to him, courtesy of Momo. Shigaraki, still in a fit of rage, doesn't notice until it's too late, and his pinky finger unceremoniously drops to the ground with a wet thud, blood dripping out of his hand. He stares at the finger and looks back at Izuku, who jumped back a few feet, just in case that set him over the edge. I'm gonna kill you, Shigaraki says eerily calmly. I'd like to see you try, Izuku replies, his bloodlust seeping out in waves with every breath. Everyone witness to this scene is stunned. How did an angry teenager severely injure the leader of a villain organization with just a couple of knives? As they were readying to attack each other again, a shout rang out from the entrance. I am here!
A little late, dipshit,
Izuku shouts right back. Once he realizes what he just did, he chokes on air and looks sheepishly back at his classmates. Without Shigaraki to command the thing, he was too busy having a temper tantrum about the stupid hero kid that rendered half of his quirk completely useless. The Nomu is quickly taken out by All Might, with the other pros helping escort Eraserhead to the ambulance. All Might rushes to the kid's side and does a quick check for injuries. If his eyes linger on Izuku just a second too long, Izuku chooses not to notice. And that concludes the glowing fury in Izuku Midoriya. I'm recording this when my entire household is supposed to be going to bed, so if it's quiet, that's why. When I first read this fic, I was just like, oh my gosh, he has a knife. Let's go. And I've read it a couple times over again, and I've learned how to keep my laughter hidden, so yeah. Anyways, good luck, procrastinators. Go get your shit done.